Today we're going to animate the drawing of some lines. First, let's make some folders in our project window. We'll call this one Sources, deselect it, make another one, call this one Comps. Now with sources selected, let's import, File, Import, File. Make sure we are where we are, yes. We want paris.psd. There it is in the sources folder. Now with the comps folder selected, let's make a new composition. Go down to the new composition button and let's call this Wayne CO2. And let's see, make it the NTSC D1 widescreen square pixel, 872, 486, perfect. And the only other thing we need to check is our duration. We want it to be 5 seconds. Hours, minutes, seconds, frames. Seconds is here, 05. So we have the name, the preset, and the duration. Hit OK. It appears in the comps folder. We will be working inside Wayne CO2. So let's bring in the Paris image here into Wayne CO2. Let's just change the size of Wayne here. Fit up to 100%. Okay. We want the width of this image to match the width of the composition. So with the layer selected, choose Layer, Transform, and Fit to Comp Width. Perfect. Let's go back to 100%. Magnify. And spacebar to get the hand, move it in place. We're going to draw a line that goes from Charles de Gaulle d'Étoile all the way over to Nation. Let's lock Paris first, and let's draw the line. To do this, make sure that nothing is selected. Go to the pen tool, and let's check our fill and stroke. We want no fill on the line we are about to draw. So click on the word fill, select none, and hit OK. As for our stroke, we like red, we like having a stroke, but our size is off. For our stroke width, click and type in 8. Okay, now let's start drawing. With our pen tool selected, we will click. Today we don't want to click and drag, we just want to click. So, click, 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 and click. There's our line. Let's modify it slightly. Select the shape layer. Oh, let's rename it. With the layer selected, hit return and name it red line. And let's twirl it down by hitting the triangle. See what's below it. Contents, shape 1, stroke. And let's change our line cap to butt cap, actually to round cap. That means that at the ends it is rounded. And our line join change to round join. That rounds it a bit at the corners. Twirl up contents again so we have some more room to look at things. Now if you'll see, the red line goes over these little objects here, these little white stations. We don't want to, that's not true. We actually want to see these stations right here. So let's hide the line and we will create a track mat. That is a layer that cuts holes in the red line where we want it. So let's create a new solid layer. This is just a big rectangle basically. Layer, new solid, call it white solid, and because it's our first solid it defaults to the size of the composition. If this is not the size of the composition, click the button that says Make Comp Size. Hit OK. We have a big white solid there. Let's change its opacity. Hit T for opacity, or you could just twirl down all the transform points here, or transform properties, that's what they're called. And let's set our opacity to something where we can see what's going on underneath, maybe 34%. Now let's zoom in. Zoom in over the left to Charles de Gaulle d'Etoile, right here. And with the white solid selected this time, let's draw some little masks on it. For example, here, 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 and here. And the white is back, so bring it up, the opacity. There we go. We have a little white thing there. Spacebar, drag. Aubert, draw a circle with the ellipse tool. Start drawing first and then hold down Shift. Draw a circle, hold down Shift, and that should do. Go back to the pen, draw a little one here, Opera. On your own you can finesse the shape of these little white things. Let's make another one here. There we go. Just adjust that slightly. This is a lot like Illustrator. Spacebar to get the hand, back to the pen tool. Click, 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 click. The pen needs to be far enough away from a point. If it's too close, you won't draw another point. You just modify the last one you do. So sometimes you have to draw farther away and then drag that point in later. But I think we're okay. And finally at Nation, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's modify that slightly. That's decent enough. Okay. Now here's the fun part. We need to make sure that track mat or Turk mat is visible here. If you don't see it, if you see something like this, you need to go down here to the Toggle Switches Modes button and click it so that you see Turk mat. We will now turn the white solid into a track mat for the line underneath by clicking alpha inverted mat. That means that the white will carve holes into the red line. Now we can't see that just yet because the red line is hidden. Bring the red line back, and we now see that there are holes cut in the red line. If we hide the background, we'll see that there are holes in it. Holes in the red line, that is. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Where there was white, there is a hole in the red line. That's what the alpha inverted does. If we were to do alpha matte, we would see the opposite. We would see where the white parts are, we will see the line. But we want inverted, we want holes, like that, okay? Bring back Paris. We now have our red line. Let's change the transfer mode of the, actually blending mode is another term for it, of the red line because we want to see what's underneath. We could go through all of the different transfer modes, blending modes, but today let's just choose difference. Difference allows us to see what's underneath, but it does change the color of what we're looking at. So to get it back to a red line, let's just change the stroke to, green maybe? Maybe a little cyan-y. Okay, so now it's back to red. Great, and you can still see what's underneath. The last thing we're going to do is animate the growth of this line. That's pretty straightforward. If you do not see this little button Add, hit the triangle here for the red line to make it visible. Okay? Now under Add, choose Trim Paths. And under Stroke we should see, there it is, Trim Paths. We don't want to see Stroke. Under Trim Paths, click it, the little triangle here, and we're going to animate the end value. The end value is going to go from 0 here to 100% here. So let's just click the stopwatch here. It stays at 100%. To create a keyframe, go back to 1, type in 0. Let's scrub through the timeline by grabbing the current time indicator. The line is forming, and the line stops. If we do a RAM preview, this is what we see.